Hey everybody, what's up? My name is Johnny, and today we're going to be talking about how to invest in the stock market, and specifically how to invest by picking your own stocks by using a method that we call value investing, which means buying a company when its stock price, right, its given price is below its intrinsic value. So I want to go ahead and give a recap of some of the previous videos that we did in this series. This is the fourth video in our stock picking series. The first one that we did explained what a stock is and what a stock market is. And so you can see I'm reading off of a talking point card because we have a lot to go over, and I want to make sure I don't forget anything. Our second video that we did, it showed how an index fund works, and that versus an actively managed mutual fund versus picking your own stock. And it kind of gave the good and bad things about all of them. And then the third video that we did, it explained what efficient market theory and efficient market hypothesis was, and it explained that although the market is pretty efficient in the long term, in the short term it can go crazy and prices and values can go all over the place, and how that actually puts us in a really unique, really good position to be able to buy something for a lot less than what it's really worth. And I also gave an explanation of how a lot of mutual fund managers, even though they're really smart guys and really good investors, they have a ton of limitations imposed upon them, and how we as individual investors are actually better able to take advantage of market fluctuations and are better able to get good returns and beat the market if we're willing to put in the work. So I promised at the end of our last video that I would go ahead and start giving a step-by-step explanation of how to pick a stock. So here it is, as promised. The first thing that I do, and it's really basic, really easy, I try to find the PE of a stock. And this is why I do that. So we're looking for a stock, we're looking for a business, right? And what's the most basic, most important thing about a business? Its ability to make money. So when a company makes money, the money that comes in is called its net income, or its earnings. And the PE simply means the price of its earnings, right? We want to know how much we're going to have to pay for its ability to make money. So this is really easy to find. You can literally just Google what is the PE of any given stock. If you just put in Coke stock, one of the first things that's going to pop up is its PE. So if you want to do this manually, and you want to start delving into this really quickly, you can actually go to the financial statements, go to the income statement, and simply find the market cap and the net income, and do market cap divided by net income, and what that's showing you is the price of the whole company divided by the price of its earnings, and that'll give you the PE. But again, if you want to keep it simple, just go ahead and Google what is the PE of the stock. Now what we're looking for, I'm going to say for simplicity's sake, let's try to find something 20 or under. Now for me, I don't really get interested in most companies unless I can find a PE of 10 or under, but let's not be too picky to start off with. Let's say 20 or under, and the reason that I'm saying this is that what'll happen is you want to pay a certain price for the amount of earnings, and the higher that price is, well, that means the worse deal you're getting. So basically the lower the PE is, that means the less you're paying for those earnings. And the PE can indicate one of two things, really. If you have a low PE number, what that means is that either your stock price is falling, right? So maybe a bunch of people are selling and dumping it. They might have a good reason for doing that. It might be for no reason at all, but emotion, Or it can also mean that the earnings of a company are rising and that they're generally, getting more income and becoming more profitable. What we want to try to do is find a good mix of both. So when a company has a higher PE, that typically means that they're growing really quickly, which is a good thing, but what'll happen is a lot of people will jump on the bandwagon and they'll start buying up a ton of it, and they'll drive the stock price up, making it overvalued. We don't want that. We want to find something that's undervalued. So what we're going to find if we're looking for something with a low PE, we're either going to find a company whose stock price has been falling because people are selling it, or a company whose earnings have been rising and the price has not matched that yet. That's a really good thing. So there's a lot of other work that goes into this, but being able to find a low PE can kind of help put it on our radar, right? So when we're looking at this, like I said, the lower the PE is better, at least for putting it on our initial radar, because that basically means it's dirt cheap. Now, there might be a good reason that it's dirt cheap. It could be a worthless, failing company, but that's why we continue to do the research and continue to dig into it. Now, another really good way to look at this is that the price of the earnings are indicating to us how long it's going to take to get our return back. So let me explain what that means. If we have a company and it has a PE of 10, what that means is that if that company has the same amount of earnings every single year, right? So it's not even growing, it's just a good, stable company, and it has low or no debt, and it's getting the same amount of earnings every year. We can statistically count on the fact that if it has those same amount of earnings every year, and the price of those earnings is 10, it's going to take 10 years to make our money back if we buy that stock at that price of earnings. The same follows for a PE of 5. It'll take 5 years to get our money back. That's why we don't want to be buying stocks that have a PE of 30 or 40, because while they might have really good growth potential and we could make a good return on that, that just means that the price of those earnings are really high, and that's basically saying that unless they have a lot of growth and we're just getting the same amount of earnings, it's going to take 30 or 40 years to make our money back. We don't want that. That's why we're looking for something with a low price of earnings. What you can do is you can follow the stock price and you can follow the earnings. And if you see that the stock price is staying flat over the period of 4 or 5 up to 10 years, and you can see that the earnings are rising, what that means is that they're making more and more money. Bless you. What that means is that they're bringing in more and more money, and people haven't caught up with that yet. They're not buying it, and so again, the value of that company is rising, and the price of it is staying the same. And that's exactly what we want. We want to try to find something that is dirt cheap and take advantage of it and buy it before other people recognize its value and start buying it up. So I hope that I was able to give you a good place to start, a good starting point. Like I said, that's just the first thing. I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible, and just go ahead and Google what is the PE of the stock, and if it's 20 or under, that means it's probably worth looking into, and especially if it's 10 or under. Again, that's where I start, and I just find that the easiest place to go to say, hey, this is crossing my radar, and I'm going to keep delving into this and seeing if this might be worth doing some homework on. So that's where I would advise you to start if you're going to be trying to take advantage of market fluctuations, because that's exactly what this is. So that's about all I have for today's video. Just want to give a shout out to my beautiful wife behind the camera. Hi there. So I'm going to be continuing the step-by-step procedure and how to pick out our own stock in next week's video. So please come back then and follow this series and follow along. I hope that you're getting a lot out of it and that I'm presenting things in a good, efficient way. And please go ahead and, share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if there's any other videos that you'd like. Let me know if there's any explanations that you need or something that you want me to follow up on. And I will see you next week. Thanks, and bye-bye. So I just wanted to give a quick shout out here and plug this company. The company's called Pura Vida bracelets, and this is just some of the awesome products that they make. Me and my wife wear them all the time. We love it, and that's why we're repping it, because it's just truly awesome product. So if you want to go ahead and get something like this, go to the link in the description below this video. Click purevidabracelets.com, that link right down there, and you can use the code DelaneyLang20 at the checkout, and that'll give you 20% off everything, the entire site.